Hello?
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 Hi, everybody. Welcome to Curiosity Cove. My name is Veda.
Hi, I'm your stinky boomer, Noona.
And this is your trusty captain speaking. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. And today's podcast is about
Personalities. So, chosen by our lovely special guest, Duda, we're going to be doing some discussions about the Myers-Briggs type thingy. I don't know what they all stand for.
Yeah, what would you label them as? Just like personality types?
Well, yeah, so it's 16 personality types, but MBTI stands for Myers-Briggs type inventory or something. Indicator. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a self-inventory test, so I always think the I stands for inventory.
That's fair. Then I didn't even know what MBTI was as well.
Yeah. It's Myers-Briggs, which I think are the two people who created it, or maybe one person with a hyphenated name. I don't know. And then type indicator, because it is giving you one of the but yeah. We're gonna talk about that stuff, and then we're gonna roll into talking about some people maybe with not the best personalities.
True. But before we do any of that jazz, how you guys' day going? How you guys doing?
I worked, and
yeah, me too.
The whole day I was really excited because we have Noona. We get Noona.
I was excited about
It's so exciting. We get
best
Noona. We get Noona to ourselves for the next hour or two.
You guys
also, PI Alex got it right.
I know, dude. I saw that. I said, I can't wait for you guys to see our guests. And then Alex goes, I bet it's Noona. I said, fuck.
So Alex works for the FBI or something.
I swear, I said back to that PI shit, rip. And he was on it. He was really on top of it. But yeah, I had a pretty good day. I had a roller coaster of emotions yesterday. Thanks, Kat. And and so when I woke up, I was like for the first time in a really long time, I had one of those like, oh, today's a new day, great. Like I woke up late as shit for work, and somehow I was still just swimming.
Shit, I think she slept in.
Nah, dude. I woke up and I basically just didn't have enough time to brush out my hair, so it went in a messy bun. And I brought my deodorant in the car with me, and I just darted right out.
That's a move.
But yeah, how was your guys' day?
How was your day?
It was good. I worked. Fridays are usually our slowest days, so I was pretty big vibing. Yeah.
Nice.
It was a busy day today. Gross.
Oh.
I know.
We can switch jobs. I feel like I do better with busy work than anything. So instead of just
I like
sitting
keeping
here
myself busy
myself.
instead of a whole day where I'm just sitting in my chair like, okay.
My new job has total autonomy, and I'm obsessed. Like I get to set my work pace, and it is the most amazing thing I could have asked for.
Wait, Veda, I saw that there was a dog in your office.
So yeah, my office has the cutest puppy. She's 13 weeks. Which I know is just 3 months, but you know.
She's 13 weeks.
She's 13 weeks, and her name is Abby, and she is so freaking sweet. And I will send you the funny picture I have of her, because when she's in her dad's office, her parents are my bosses, and they let me play with her all the time because she really likes me. So I get to just hang out in their office and like mess around with her, and I love her so much. And when I walk away from the office, she stares through the window of the door, and it is the cutest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Aww.
We love Abby.
I love it. She's so cute. All right. Well, I actually don't know a lot about this personality.
Wait, Cap, how was your day?
I wanted to skip mine. Mine was just busy.
No, there's no skipping.
No, there's no skipping. How was your day? How are you?
Mine was all right. I was just really busy today. I was chatting with a few people, so they actually made my day. I had Homie Appreciation Day yesterday,
which was amazing.
You guys were so absolutely amazing to be a part of. And I wanted to thank you guys and everybody who stopped by, and fuck you guys for making me cry, because I loved it so much, but I was so emotionally drained
Actually,
at the end.
Actually, fuck you for making me
yeah,
cry.
yeah, respectfully,
Respectfully?
fuck
Respectfully,
you.
fuck you.
Respectfully, fuck off.
Um, I
Fair.
I was telling Cap this early, but I feel like yesterday is so big, and I don't even know if you grasp how big it is. Like, I think I watched a bunch of people immediately get inspired to share love to others too. And that is a really big accomplishment, and I think you should be really proud of yesterday.
hmm
I am really proud. I'm really proud that I was able to like share love with everyone and that everyone was able to yes, I was super surprised that they gave a bunch of love back cuz I wasn't
Mhm.
expecting anything in return. I just wanted it's my day to give back to you guys. So the ending of stream was such a very big surprise for me, but I didn't ever realize that a homie appreciation day like that would matter so much to someone else in respect that they would get inspired themselves to do kind of the same thing where they wanted to share love and like show love to their community and their friends like that. So hearing that from you this morning, I was like,
Mhm.
fuck, it
No,
really
dude,
means it hit big.
we were like in chat talking about it, like a bunch of us in the mansion, and I would like we were all like, God, we should be doing something like this too. Like it was such a massive wave. I think of like, hey, I'm doing this for you guys, but also like an underlying thing of like, hey, it's okay to do this to people. It's okay
Yeah.
to like
hmm
to say how you feel and show people
Mhm.
that you care for them. That's
hmm
acceptable. And I think that is a really big thing. And I don't know if you realize honestly how brave it is. So props to you for that.
You guys, thank you. It also is really fucking scary and nerve-wracking
Yeah,
that
I
I
know.
was
I could
crying on
feel your
stream.
nerves in the beginning. I was like, we were watching and I was like, oh my God, she's so nervous. It's gonna be okay, Jay.
I
Just get
wasn't,
through
but here's
it.
the thing. I wasn't nervous about what I was saying to people. I was nervous because number one, I had to go through at least 15 people at once. So I was like,
Yeah.
fuck, these are all back to back. But also, I get nervous if I come across as like too emotional or like too baby if I'm
hmm
crying because I was gonna cry, but it wasn't because like I was feeling sad. It was
I
because I
know.
just like felt overwhelmed with like how much I like people mean to me, but I still felt like my crying voice was fucking uggos.
Oh
No,
no. Honestly,
no, not at all.
you're so cute all the time, and you literally could not be ugly if you
Fuck,
tried.
I
stop!
agree.
It's
I second
literally
that.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Get out. It make me kicking my feet and shit, braiding my toe hairs.
Those toe hairs are
What
mine.
the fuck? But yes, okay. Well, now that we've established that we all have incredible personalities, let's dive further into it.
True,
T.
I agree. I
Who
don't know
wants
much
to
about this stuff.
share about theirs first? I feel like Noona's the big expert in this.
Okay, so
That's what I was thinking too. I mean, we brought
I
on an amazing
I see
guest.
these
Let's
notes.
hear
You
from
are
her.
the expert in this right now.
okay, I wouldn't say I'm an expert at it, but I am one of these like very firm believers of these sort of things. And but I'm also like impressionable like that where like if
Mhm.
I feel like I there's something that really relates to me, I'm going to wholeheartedly
Read
believe that
into
sort of
it.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why like I'm a big thing about like these MBTI tests, and I usually take one once every year just to see if anything has changed or if it hasn't changed, just depending on how my outlook is towards life.
Does it make you
Um
feel better putting yourself in a box that can explain how like you work yourself, like your brain and like how you go about your day? Or does it make you feel better that like you can now be like, "Man, why do I do this?" and then finally have like an answer to that?
Honestly, it's a little bit of both. I feel
Okay.
like I'm such a control freak when it comes to things that are about my life and like planning things out, where I feel like I have to have some sort of direction when it
Okay.
comes to these things. But then at the same time, I love the idea of why am I actually doing this? Like, why am I thinking of this? And
Mhm.
when certain instances, like one of these is like about stressors in like my life, I'm like, oh, I immediately latch onto that. Like that totally makes sense onto why I do these things. So
No, I
um
think that makes sense. It also is one of those things of like, I feel like people like the MBTI stuff for the same reason that people really like astrology. I was
Mhm.
actually having this conversation not too long ago with some friends about how, to me, these very much fall in similar categories, because anything like this that is used to explain something like philosophical or psychological but is not
Yeah.
like bona fide is considered
Mhm.
a pseudoscience of sorts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
pseudosciences are really, really fun, but some people see them as, this is science, it's just not fully confirmed science. And some people see it as like this is something that wants to be science, but is not. And
Yeah.
I think
But I think it
people,
floats somewhere in the middle.
yeah, I think people enjoy operating that gray area because
Mm-hmm.
it's something that you can brush off if it doesn't apply to you, but then something that you can kind of like cling to help you internally figure things out if it does relate to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel
Definitely.
like a lot of the interest from that comes from people who are maybe searching for answers like somewhere else, because some of us can't internalize things, like we can't actually sit there and have something inside of us that's explaining how we are or like why we are the way we are. So seeing
Mhm.
something that kind of does it for you helps you be like, yeah, you know what, I am like that, and then like it helps you learn who you are at the very least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I like the idea of it being not like a label if you guys don't like that terminology, but like something that explains the why. Like I'm a huge person who just loves asking why, or like why things
Mhm.
happen, why do you feel like that stuff kind of thing. But I like that one word could summarize all of that. And it could be like, yeah, that is me. Or like if we connect it back to astrology, because we're doing that every month, wink wink. That you can just be like, yeah, I'm a Pisces, or like, yeah,
Mhm.
I am an Aries. And then you don't have to like be that specifically, because like not everyone's gonna follow that specific format or like that specific sign to a T, but it just helps like, yeah, I have that personality too, or like, hey, I do that, and it makes you feel better about yourself. Like at least that's how I feel anyways.
Yeah.
No, I think that
I
totally
agree with
makes
that.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's so like whatever your MBTI is of you to say that.
We'll get there, don't worry. Let's let the amazing Noona talk first. I just want to hear her talk.
Yeah, oh my
Oh
god,
my
same.
God, stop. Wait, I'm so nervous. Okay. Okay, so last year when I took this, I was an INFJ. But now when I actually took it yesterday, I am an ISFJ. So, which is also known as the defender, if you want like a broader term of it. So, why the certain change? So, the dominant function is different between INFJ and ISFJ. It's just because of those two letters. So, INFJ's dominant function is introverted intuition versus ISFJ's being introverted sensing. So, if you want to like do like a more of a deep dive into that, so an INFJ of what I was before is they have an introverted intuition, which means it's like an unconscious awareness of what could be happening, and they're excited by the unknown. So they like to go through things more like spontaneously.
Mhm.
And then now that I'm an ISFJ, which is an introverted sensing, we tend to recall concrete realities of the past, and these images may bring emotions that override the present reality. So, which personally I definitely relate to, just because if I'm about to do something new, I try to relate it to something that's in my past, if this will be beneficial to me or harmful for me, and then I do it based off of that now. And definitely before I was more like, oh yeah, let's fucking do it, who the hell cares? So
Yeah,
um,
that's fair. So it's kind of like you have to have like a little backstory to it. Just you have to make yourself feel more confident in order to do something, in a way, or no?
uh
Because like instead of just saying "fuck it," full send, now you're like, "Ooh, like let me think about these consequences," or
yeah,
like the path that it would lead me on, instead of just saying like go crazy with it.
yeah. And honestly, I think it's because I don't have anybody. I used to not have anybody else that I needed to like really put my attention to. But
Mm-hmm.
now, of course, that like I'm married and I have not only myself to think about, I also have to think about JJ's life. I
Yeah.
have to think about how it not only is it going to affect me, but it's also going to affect him in the same way, because we're one and the same basically at this point.
That's
And
fair.
so it's like things like those certain things have changed. And then another thing that was really big was that INFJs have a sort of thing called extroverted sensing, which means that they may neglect like the physical environment and they're not conscious of practical and tangible factors. Versus ISFJs, they tend to catastrophize when put under stress and have very unrealistic expectations about themselves, which I relate to because I have really bad imposter syndrome when it comes to like a lot of the things in my life. So
Can you
Mm.
explain what imposter syndrome is to people who might
It-
not know?
Imposter syndrome is like when you feel that you are in a place where you don't actually belong. Like that you're putting on some sort of face even when you're not.
mhm.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. I
And
feel like a lot of people feel like that.
Oh,
and
for
I
sure.
oh yeah.
I want. Is there like a certain way to like counteract that mentally, like for
Yeah,
someone who
you
is experiencing that?
you can reframe your thoughts. So instead of when you're in that state of this is a psychology thing, teehee. When you're in that state of like I don't belong here, instead of framing it that way in your mind, you stop yourself and instead you use a more positive term, which is I feel a little out of place here. So that way
Mhm.
you're not telling yourself that you
Mm.
don't belong, you're telling yourself like it doesn't feel right to me right now.
But it's not wrong.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Hold on,
Interesting.
I'm writing this down because I definitely
that
need
down,
that
write
for,
that down,
like-
write
Yeah,
that
no,
down.
honestly, the one thing that I will say is that reframing thoughts, truthfully, we should we should have a whole ass episode on like coping mechanisms because I have
should.
a
Write that down,
Oh my
write that
god, I
down.
love that.
But yeah, reframing thoughts is like really strong because the more that you do it, the more you form the habit of saying like, I don't feel like where I am, it does not feel right now. And that's a lot less taxing on your emotional side of yourself
being.
than saying I
Mhm.
don't belong here.
Mm.
Oh, I like
Mhm.
that. Thanks, Veda.
Oh, of
Thank you.
course.
So yeah, so those were like the two big things that were like the differences between my past MBTI and my current one. And the only reason why I feel like I changed is because I got older. And
Mhm.
a lot of things like just having to be thought about now for the future as like I turn 30. And yeah. But I'm okay with this change, you know. I feel
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
I'm more solid in who I am as a person, which is great from
Mhm.
like a year ago. But it also gives me a sense of things that I still need to be on the lookout when it comes to like my mental or like my, you know, the habits that I do.
Mhm.
So yeah.
I would probably also argue, I bet you in like aging in general, I bet you going from intuition to sensing is probably pretty normal. Because if you think
Yeah.
about it, like intuition is something that you use when you're unfamiliar, right? Whereas like senses are something that you use when you're familiar, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like
Yeah, that
when
is
you're
fair.
younger and you don't really have that like experience, you probably it's more so intuitive because you haven't gotten it figured out just yet, so you have to use your intuition versus when you're older. Like how many scenarios do you know that when you were younger you would be like I would have had to have thought really hard about this versus now you're like, "Oh, I can see this coming."
A
When I
pretty
was
drastic
younger,
change.
yeah, like almost never.
Yeah. So like but
Mhm.
now I can see things coming from a mile away. No
Mhm.
no problem. I don't need
Mhm.
intuition, I can sense it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. Um, and then I guess if we just wanted to do like a quick dive into like the percentages of an ISFJ for me, and obviously these percentages will change depending on whoever does the test.
Mhm.
But for me, I'm 75% introverted, which is totally a mood. Feel like it should be a little bit higher, but I'm trying to get better at it. I am 55% observant, which means I'm pragmatic and down to earth. And I tend to have a strong feeling on what is happening or very likely to happen, like you said, Veda.
Mhm.
I'm 51% feeling, which means I place a lot of importance on empathy, social harmony, and cooperation with everyone that's around me. I feel like I'm a very empathetic person, and I want to make sure everybody around me is feeling okay before I even like look at myself.
I feel that. I
Mhm.
feel that.
I am 60% judging. So judging individuals are decisive, thorough, and highly organized. They value clarity, predictability, and closure, and prefer structure than spontaneity, which is why I'm a control freak over everything that I do.
Fair, fair.
Especially
I
when
feel
it comes
that.
especially when it comes to traveling. I don't know about you guys, but I'm the type of person that needs to have like an itinerary,
Oh,
and I need to have
absolutely
like
not.
No,
real.
I
Oh
say
no.
fuck that shit.
Absolutely. I wing that shit from the second I get on the plane.
Oh.
No.
I
Oh my
We can
god.
plan
I-
1 or 2
Do
days.
you-
After that, fuck that
do
shit.
you want to
No.
do you want to have massive anxiety right now? Because I'll tell you how I do
I don't know if
travel.
I'm ready for this.
I'll tell you how I do travel. Me and my sister travel together a lot, right? And we
Mhm.
will hop on the plane, and sometimes we aren't even sure what's at the destination.
Like,
Like
you
you
don't got
don't
a
know
place
where
to
you're
stay?
going.
No, it's not that we don't know where we're going. It's that like we'll say like, "Oh, you know what? We should go to like Denver." And then we'll go to Denver without looking up anything to do.
Oh my
I feel like if you got a cool place though, I feel like if you just hang out like at an Airbnb or something, like you could just make
So,
something up along the way.
A lot of the time, I think what happens is our plans get derailed so often that we're like, fuck it, why plan? We'll just
That's
wing
what I
it.
was about to say.
Yeah,
Just why
Yeah.
that's
plan?
valid. That's
Yeah.
valid.
That's fair. I like having at least maybe like 1 or 2 days planned so you have like an idea of what you want to do. But other than that, like unless it's like traveling for a purpose, I feel like a vacation should stay a vacation. Where,
Yeah.
like, you just
I
hang out and
like-
do whatever you want.
I like how we did New York, honestly, because like, I mean, granted, half of New York was for a family event, but like the first half of it, when we were actually in the city, I did like I made one plan to go to the Met, and then I think we were like, yeah, we want to do a Central Park at some point. And so we had 5 days and we fit both those in at some point. And then we just kind of like, we would like sit after, because she had to work from the hotel for a couple days of it. So we would sit there, and while she was working, we'd be like, yeah, are we feeling like a museum? Or are we feeling like you want to do something like walk the Brooklyn Bridge? Or like, what are you feeling today?
Yeah, like what are the vibes out today? So we
that
can pick out
was-
what we want to do today.
That was really nice, because half the time when we plan stuff, it'll be like, we'll wake up and we'll be like, I do not want to do this anymore.
That's fair. That's fair. I
Yeah.
like checking the vibes first.
But I also think that's definitely like very specific, I think, to me and my sister. So I guess if I was traveling with someone else, it would probably be a little more organized.
Fair.
I think this calls for us to take a trip together.
Oh, I need
So,
to see
to
what that's like. So
see-
TwitchCon? TwitchCon? TwitchCon?
TwitchCon?
TwitchCon?
Okay.
That's, I mean, I will say right now, I will totally, like, I'll fly out with you guys if you want to do TwitchCon.
Oh, yeah. We
could
I'd
do-
love it.
Plane
get
buddies?
Plane buddies?
Plane buddies?
TwitchCon?
I get air
TwitchCon?
tickets. Hee
Teehee?
It's-
I will say
Silence.
I will say right now, I get a little anxious during takeoff. So
do I.
It's okay. I'll hold your hands. I'll hold your hands.
I'm no
I've
longer
flown a lot of
anxious.
times.
I'm no longer
I'll have
anxious.
a hand for each of us. I'll be right in the middle of you guys.
Oh, God.
I'll hold your hair if you need to throw up. I got you guys.
Cap,
Oh
for
my
your, are you one of the
gosh.
people on a plane who needs the aisle for your height?
Nope.
Okay.
Wait, how tall are you, Cap?
I'm 5'9".
Mommy,
I'm
sorry,
a little
mommy.
small Noona.
Oh my god, wait, let me just flip my hair back real quick. Cap, you're so tall.
Oh my gosh.
That's
I'll
oh
come
my
up to your
God.
belly button.
You're not that small.
That's Yumi is definitely fun, like fun size. Absolutely
size.
fun size.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. I feel like
I felt so
like,
short.
dude, yeah, giving Noona a hug was like so, it was so cute because like I never have to do this, but I got to like slightly bend to like give her the hug. It was so freaking cute.
Wait,
Oh
Noona,
my
how
God.
tall are you?
I'm 5'3". I mean, well, technically 5'2.25", but I say I'm 5'3".
5'2.25", she said. I guess you're kind of small. A small
Yeah.
Noona.
Yeah,
That's
fun
guys,
size.
I'm
Fun
so
size,
interested, dude.
Noona.
One of the things that I'm like crazy interested in is seeing the height difference between everybody at TwitchCon.
I'm
Like,
so
'cause,
excited.
like, do you ever talk to someone and it feels like you have tall energy, but then you never figure out their height and they don't have tall energy?
I think that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
And
short energy too.
yes. Okay, where are you in your percentages?
Let's see. Oh, and it was actually my last one that I'm at right now,
Okay,
which is
cool.
my highest one. So I'm 81% turbulent, which means I'm self-conscious and sensitive to stress. I feel a sense of an urgency in my emotions and tend to be success-driven and a perfectionist, which is completely valid.
So correct
81%, huh?
Correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
but this is not something that was on the MBTI stuff like originally, right?
Right. These are new. Yeah, the
T-ish,
T.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Does everyone just get a T?
no, it's like T or A, right?
I believe so, yeah, because
Oh,
it used to just be
assertive.
the original. Yeah, it used to just be like the original 4, and then they added these new letters in.
Yeah, because I like
You're throwing me off.
I don't remember. I remember what I was from high school, but I was like doing it again. I was like, where did this letter come from? I don't. It was 4. It used to be. It was 4. It was just 4.
Why is it 5?
Why is it 5?
Yeah, I was like, wait, why is this one my highest percentage? I was like, wait, what the fuck is this? Like, I've never seen this before. Why is it so accurate?
Yeah, that was my other thing. Was I was like, they add another letter and it still describes me. So what is that?
Yeah,
It's kind of offensive.
Yeah, for real.
Okay. Is there anything I feel like I didn't realize that they went so in depth. So past percentages, is there anything else about your personality type?
No, that was it about it. I don't know if there's any other like ISFJs in the chat, but just like as like a small like strengths and weaknesses, like some strengths is that we're supportive, we're reliable, observant, and enthusiastic. And then weaknesses is that we're overly humble, we take things way too personally, and we tend to repress our feelings a lot. So yeah, it'll be okay, ISFJs. Don't worry, we're hanging in there. But some good news though, some other famous ISFJs out there are Beyonce, Queen Elizabeth II, Vin Diesel, Anne Hathaway. And then some fictional characters: Samwise Gamgee, Dr. Watson, from Sherlock and Holmes, obviously, Captain America, and Pam Beesly.
Wow.
America's ass right there. I won't.
That is America. So Noona is
I have
America's
been working
ass.
out, so
You have America's ass, dude. That's crazy, actually.
But yeah, that's all that I have.
Hell yeah. Well, Cap, I know you said that you're not too familiar. Do you want to go next? You want me to go next?
Yeah, I can go next for sure. I'll go ahead and do my quick breakdown. I went a little bit further into the breakdown as well, like Noona, just because I didn't know a whole lot about this, so I was actually learning a bit myself as it did the breakdown and the test. But so I took the test today, literally like 30 minutes ago, and it gave me the finale of advocate. It came out to be INFJ-T. So to break it all down, I was pretty close in extroverted introverted, which I'm quite happy about, I won't lie. I got 46% extroverted and 54% introverted. So again, as Noona said before, it basically said that introverted individuals tend to prefer fewer yet deep and meaningful social interactions and often feel drawn to calmer environments. So think of like extroverted, like super party, like have a lot of fun, like talking to people, like to get to know like a bunch of different people too. But like introverted is more so like, ooh, I would rather hang out with like my friends and that'll be it. Like maybe put their leg out, like put their toe in the water and be like, and that's enough for me. And so I feel like that's really nice. And I like that the numbers were really close because I feel like I can float in between the two depending on like the friend groups and whatnot.
That's fair, yeah.
And then for the next one, I got 63% intuitive and 37% observant, which said that intuitive individuals are very imaginative, open-minded, and curious. Curiosity Cove, #plug. They value originality and focus on hidden meanings and distant possibilities. So I was like, oh, that hit the nail on the head again. Shoot. And then the next one was 33% thinking and 67% feeling. And again, going with the feeling one, it says they value emotional expression and sensitivity. They place a lot of importance on empathy, social harmony, and cooperation. So I hope a lot of that feeling came through yesterday during Homie Appreciation Day. I was really proud of that 67%, I won't lie.
Hell yeah.
And then is judging supposed to be taken as like a negative way?
No,
No.
it's like it's very like split. So it's judging versus prospecting. So like prospect is when you're kind of like adaptable versus judging is when you're like able to assess things. You know? So like it's a adaptation versus assessment basically.
Gotcha. Because I got 89% and I didn't know if I was supposed to be like take it to my heart or whatnot.
It means like somebody who is a P versus your J. You in a situation like let's say shit's hitting the fan, you're the person who's like, I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna look at this and I'm gonna try to sensibly come up with outcomes or like a solution or like at least try to mitigate as much damage versus people who are more on the prospecting side are those who are like, I'm going to improvise in this situation and I'm just going to adapt to whatever outcome it is because I don't think I can stop this.
So like that's fair. Like winging it, I was saying.
Yeah,
like,
so yeah, I feel like judging is very much like analytical versus prospecting is very much improv.
Gotcha. So yeah, basically it said the judging individuals are decisive, thorough, and highly organized. They value clarity, predictability, and closure, all that jazz. And then for T, I got 76% turbulent and 24% assertive. And turbulent individuals are self-conscious and sensitive to stress and all that jazz. And so also going on the perfectionist side of thing, I was like, damn, I feel that with Noona. I feel it a lot. I felt called out, but also same, you know? Like I was like, whatever. But going off of INFJ's some of their strengths and weaknesses. For strengths, we've got they're very insightful, principled, passionate, altruistic, and creative. For weaknesses, they're sensitive to criticism, reluctant to open up, perfectionists, and avoiding the ordinary. I'm not really sure what that was about, but that's what it said. And also that they're prone to burnout as well.
I have to ask,
a
Cap,
little bit further. What's up?
do you feel like these strengths and the weaknesses, like, do you relate to them at all?
I would say some of the strengths, I really like the passionate part of things just because whenever I find something that is of interest of mine or interest of my friends, I get really passionate about it. And if it's mine specifically, I want to jump on in and learn everything I want to know about it. It's like a hyper focus kind of thing. But if it's like my friends really like a certain topic, I like getting to know more about it, whether that be like I ask them more about it because I want to hear them get excited about it, or I want to learn more about it so like we could talk about it.
Gotcha.
So I get really excited about that and the creative part of things as well. But for weaknesses, oh, 1000%. I get burnt out sometimes if I go too hard in a certain subject or a certain like path that I'm doing. So for example, I did get burnt out for streaming at the end of last year. And I took a small break and it was really nice. Not a full hiatus, but like a step back and a look at things. And so I definitely agree with the burnout, and I've been working on it a lot recently, and I was told by a friend of mine that they're really proud of me of working up the confidence to open up a bit more to like my friends and stuff. But I definitely have come out of my shell a little bit more, and like wanting to open up to some of my friends has been a big step for me. But I'm glad I'm taking those steps because I want to connect with the people I'm close with more, so then I'm not so nervous to do it elsewhere. Or, and for example, if we do end up meeting, I don't want to like be that shy person anymore. I want to like be open to having that fun moments and like just being able to share more of my life with my friends. And so
I'm so proud of you.
yeah.
So am I.
I'm so proud of you.
Thanks. But I think there are certain yes and no's to those strengths and weaknesses for sure.
That's fair.
Yeah. And then some quick famous INFJs. We've got Lady Gaga, Kate Blanchett, Adam Sandler, Martin Luther King Jr., Gandhi, and Carrie Fisher. We got some OGs in there.
Dang.
Nice.
I know there were some good ones in there.
All right.
Honestly,
all
I
right.
kind of be interested to see, because I was an INFJ when I was younger, and now, like, obviously I'm a different. If, like,
Mhm.
as you go older, if yours ends up changing as well.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm wondering as well now.
I
I'm like,
can't wait to
"Shit."
see when you're on the brink of 30 and how your
He's
life
like,
changes.
"Cap, take the test, take the test."
You're gonna
And then-
reach the point where it's like a couple months before your 30th. And I'm gonna be like, you have to take the Meyer-Briggs.
Take
What
the
did you
test,
get?
we need
Take
to
it,
know.
take it.
What
We
did she
need to
say?
know. Did you change?
It was really fun to take the test, though.
Yeah.
I liked all the questions in it. I felt a little torn on a few of them. I won't lie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was the
for
same way.
sure.
I changed a lot of my bubbles. Like I would like
after you put it
answer.
in?
I would answer and then I would look at it and I changed a lot of them after answering initially.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if I like wasn't a little bit rushed because I got a little nervous because podcast was starting soon. I was like, "Fuck, I need to take this," but I wonder if I sat down and like actually took it. You know?
So it's funny because that was a big question that I had going into this was like my biggest thing was I was like, if I take this tonight and then I wake up tomorrow and I take it, what are the chances that it's the same exact results?
Yeah.
You know? So I was like, I wonder, but then I learned that there are ranges of percentages that these fall into or whatever. So the likelihood of you answering something like mildly different and getting a different result is pretty low.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes me feel a lot better about it then.
You could always,
Mhm.
the website lets you like forget the results and you can retake it. So you
Oh,
could
dope.
do like you could spend more time on it if you wanted to, but I wouldn't be
Mhm.
shocked if it came out the same.
All right, bet. Good.
Yeah.
That makes me feel better.
Is that all that you had?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
about
perfect.
it.
Cool. Then I will I have 2 sets of notes here, so I have to flip back and forth. But
You're all good.
so I've taken this test in 3 completely separate points of my life. I took it in high school. I took it my last year of college, and then I took it like a week ago. When I was in high school, I was an ENFJ. When I was in college, I was an INFJ. And then a week ago I took it and I'm an ENFP now.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I've never had the same results twice, but the NF is really constant. Like that stuck through. Like and like I can almost kind of see why the introvertedness changed like in college, because the last couple years of college I think I really did kind of like slow down, because I was very, if you guys like asked Lexi what I was like in high school or like when I was like getting out of high school and I had like started to hang out with her more, she would tell you I was the most extroverted person in the world. So was she. But both of us, like miraculously, like in our early to mid 20s, we slowed down a lot. Like we stopped doing like crazy spontaneous things and we kind of like spent more nights in. And I think at the time that I took this, I had become so accustomed to that the introvertedness does kind of make sense. I am super surprised that I'm back to extrovert, if we're being honest.
I think I'm a little surprised as well, but also not. I feel like you have a lot of extroverted tendencies that I think like shadow the introvertedness in a way. Do you remember if like the percentages were pretty close?
Yeah, hold on, I have my percentages right here. I am 64% extroverted, 36 introverted.
Okay, so that's not as close as I was thinking.
But when I took
still
it
think your
in
traits are more.
college, I remember my percentages being like 51 and 46 or something like that. Like they were so close. I think I just went through a mildly introverted stage, because if we're being honest, I think maybe after reading this, I just had the wrong idea of what being an extrovert and an introvert really is. Because my thought of it was that an introvert was somebody who literally just did not want to deal with like going outside, talking to people, interacting with anybody. But really what it is it's just being, it's like when it comes to forming new relationships is more so where it shows. So like
yeah,
that makes sense to me because I love connecting with people. So of course I'm an extrovert.
Yeah, because like I still feel like I get anxiety a bit like getting to meet new people.
Yeah.
But like I think because my percentages are so close, I have this thing where I have to like quote unquote fake it till I make it. So if I like fake the anxiety like away, then I'm really easily able to make that connection with people and do that like quick little introduction.
Yeah.
But if I can't do that, then I'm like, I do not want to meet you right now.
It's
I will.
funny.
Yeah.
It's funny because I can almost watch you slip into the extrovert from the introvert sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like
And I can feel myself do it too.
Yeah, it's fascinating to watch because like when we're out, for example, like I feel like, so correct me if I'm wrong, but the presence that you give off is like I almost feel like you enter any sort of social situation kind of introverted, and then somewhere throughout the like event you turn into an extrovert.
I would agree because
Yeah.
here's why. I like to be quiet for a second. I need to get a vibe of that person first. I like to look at them like head to toe, see how they're like talking, like holding themselves, how they're communicating like with other people, especially if like I have like my friends around me. And if we're going to go do something, I just like to do a quick little moment of people watching just to see how the vibe is. And then as soon as I'm like, yeah, we're good, in like my brain, it just clicks, I guess, in a way is the better lack of terms, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like I can see that for sure.
Yeah, I just like doing a little people watching for a second.
I wish I had that, to be honest. I feel like
switching in between?
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like there are like a lot of like I feel like misinformation about like being extroverted and introverted, like how Veda was saying. But I feel like
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I feel like for me, like I'm extroverted when I'm in a very comfortable space. So when I'm in front of the computer and like I'm on camera, like I have that I feel like I have that extroverted energy. And because I'm comfortable in the space that I'm in. But once you put me outside of my bubble and like I'm quote unquote forced to sort of be out there, I tend to be like that wallflower and I will stay that way. Like I'll observe, I'll like put my input there, here and there, but I'm not comfortable in the setting that I'm in. So I stay inward. And
I feel like
I've tried to change that so many times, but it's so hard for me.
Yeah, I feel like that's why I think a lot of people who feel comfortable online lean towards that introverted side because it's a lot easier to be like to appear social and extroverted when you are in some place that seems safe to you, because like me and Noona were so like, I mean, it was like two extroverts meeting when like we got into each other's TikTok DMs. And it was but then both of us, when we hung out the one time, that was like, it was like this thing of like, it all of a sudden it felt like two introverts meeting.
Yeah.
Because we were just like,
yeah,
because like she came over to hang out with me and Lexi, and I gave her, it was close to her birthday, so I gave her a birthday gift. And then we were like trying to figure out we got boba, right? Was that what we did?
We got boba and then we got McDonald's and we sat in the parking lot and just talked.
Listened to K-pop and
listened to K-pop and talked. And that's
Yeah.
literally what we did.
And I feel like it was finding that common ground of like, okay, you know what's a safe space? Like a car where we can just like sit and chat and there's no like outside. Like I feel like it would have gone a lot differently if we had been like silly enough to say like, let's go get dinner, because then we're in like this crowded place and it's like, it's overwhelming, you know.
But
so
I have a question though. Would the slight change between the introvertedness and extrovertedness be dependent on who you're with or specifically the settings? Because I feel like if you were put in a settings, for example, if you were at like a restaurant and there's like a lot of hustle and bustle going on, and it was just like you and a new friend, would that be more daunting because of the setting rather than like a group of your friends going to the same restaurant? Would it feel more comfortable with the friends versus like meeting a new person at the setting being the difference?
So I think with friends it's always going to be comfortable, because like me, speaking as somebody who has gone through like introverted and extroverted phases. I think I'm an amnivert, to be honest with you. Like, I think
I agree, me too.
yeah, I think that I can just flow between the two of them because, like, 64 and 36 are very different percentages. However, I would argue that this shifts for me. Like,
Oh, for sure.
I think that this is like what I was feeling at the time that I took it, but I honestly think that my social meter and like my extrovertedness, I think that differs day to day. So like for me, when it comes to meeting somebody new or like hanging out with somebody, even someone that I haven't seen in a long time, it is way easier for me to be in a quiet, like personal setting than it is to be in a like an open, loud public setting. I feel more social in a small, intimate setting. Like, put me around a campfire with people. I am the most extroverted person in the world. Put me in a loud,
just saying.
Yes, put me in a loud ass club with people, not talking.
That's fair. Yeah, I feel like I'd be more wallflower-esque if it was in like a big open area with like a lot of people, mostly because I get really bad anxiety of, oh my god, is this person looking at me? Did I say something wrong? Did I mess up? Like, all the what ifs just explode everywhere.
And I think that is, for lack of a better term, like a symptom of being an introvert. I think is like the overwhelming social aspect.
Yeah.
But then I can hit you with I can sometimes just get rid of that shit if I fake it till I make it.
Yeah,
I swear.
see, and I'm the same way. So it's funny because I used to tell people this all the time, and this is 100% true. I have massive social anxiety, but I found a way to channel that shit, and I have convinced myself when it comes to my social anxiety, I'm like, okay, well, here's the thing. I'm anxious, but am I really anxious because I don't want to talk to people? There's too many of them? No, I'm anxious because I think all these people aren't going to like me. How do I make them like me? I talk to them. So it is like a reverse psychology way of being extroverted and social. It's like I've convinced myself fully, if I do not talk to this person, they're going to have a bad impression of me. And so now I talk to everybody all the time.
That's fair. I guess I could see that.
Yeah.
So I guess, Noona, I guess you just gotta reverse psychology yourself.
Yeah.
I
reframe
so.
your thoughts and reverse psychology yourself.
Reframe your thoughts and get you back on coping mechanisms.
Thank you. I'll be here, please, for that. Because I'm listening to you guys, and I was trying to think of like the answer to like your question, Cap, and I'm just thinking, I'm like, oh my god, I think I'm just fucking antisocial. Like I would definitely prefer like a more like intimate setting versus like a lot of people around me. Because I get really uncomfortable when there's like a lot of people around me that I don't know.
Oh, for sure.
But even
Is it
so, like,
you think that they're talking about you or thinking about you?
I think they're talking about me. I think they're thinking about me. I think they're judging me based off like how I look and like how I'm upholding myself and like all these other sort of things. But I'm also not comfortable being in an intimate setting with also people that I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's that sort of like, oh, I could get to know you, but there's like these self-doubts in me that you're gonna think I'm either way too nerdy, I'm way too uncool for you, like just boring, I don't know really how to strike up a conversation with you sort of thing. And I don't know. Yeah.
I think you got a bad case of the what ifs, honey.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I don't know that you're necessarily antisocial. I think that you don't have a lot of social confidence, which is fine. That's a huge thing in our generation. But I think
it's pretty not easy, I would say, but like you can totally take baby steps to work yourself up to have that self-confidence.
Will you guys hold my hands while I do this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course,
we can have
always.
You know, we could always do things like we could have like a bonfire night between us, like just like a very small group. Like you already know us as people, so it's fine.
Yeah.
And then we can like work it up to like, okay, well, let's go to like a boba shop and we'll actually sit at the boba shop. Like we could take baby steps if you actually do want to have like a more get out and do social things, like work your way up to like bigger crowds, because like
I'd actually find it really like heartwarming and like wholesome to see you like build up from like someone who, for example, since we have never met, if for when we do meet, that you'll come from this like being inside your shell and like really nervous and like not really like wanting to open up, but like kind of keeping yourself like together to finally like seeing you do those little baby steps and like opening up a bit more. Because like I absolutely adore you on your Twitch and like meeting and like hanging out with you in VC, but like that's completely different versus like going to
Mhm.
meet you in person. And I'm not saying
Yeah.
like you have two different personalities. I'm saying like it's just a slight difference and
Yeah.
like getting past that shy part first.
But also,
Yeah.
it just like I feel like it deepens the friendship so much more. Like me and Noona were
1,000%.
super close already when we met, but I feel like
Mhm.
meeting you like solidified. I was like, I love this bitch. You know?
Aww.
It was just so it was so nice meeting you. I mean, we could gush about that for hours.
I
like,
literally we
our
could. We do it all the time.
honestly, we really do, and
Yeah.
it'll never become like a broken record for me because I really do value having that sort of instant connection with somebody.
Mhm.
Mhm.
When I knew, like, at that time, like, I was still like really like not okay with like meeting people and like becoming
Yeah.
friends with people like outside of that circle. But
Mhm.
like you were like that first person where I was like, oh my god, I actually know someone in real life that wants to be
Mhm.
friends with me. But also it's
Oh.
like you and I, like, you sort of understood me when like
Yeah.
I didn't really even understand anything. And I think
I think
like it
that is just a strong suit of mine. I think I just get people really
Yeah.
early.
mhm.
I agree. You just
Yeah.
I don't know how the fuck you do it. It's just like I can say two
Ah.
words out of my mouth and you can look me up and down and be like, I get that. And I'm like, oh my god, she sees me. Interesting. I don't know how I feel, but I feel my
see
heart is
all.
warm.
No, I see it happen a lot. Like I think it's funny because like here I'll go through the rest of my stuff so that I can explain to you like how eye-opening this was because I'm going to be honest with you, I did not think that this was worth shit before I read into it. And
Yeah.
then doing the research today because like I did my test a week ago, kind of read over it, said okay, whatever. And then I kind of like looked into everything like the strengths and weaknesses, like the friendship stuff, career paths, like they have like a thing on habits and like looking at that stuff I was like holy
I
shit
liked looking at the
balls.
relationship and friendship one.
Yeah, I was like shit balls.
Mhm.
This shit is accurate. So like I'm gonna speed rush through my percentages and then I'll go over like my because we've kind of explained what all the percentages mean anyway. But
Mhm.
I have so extrovert introverted is actually my closest one. I am
Oh.
83% intuitive, 17% observant. I am
83?
83.
Wow.
I am
Wow.
84% feeling, 16% thinking. I am 75% prospecting, 25% judging, and I am 69 nice percent turbulent, 31% assertive. So I'm
Those are some wide
extreme.
gaps.
Yeah,
They
I'm
are.
extreme on a lot of these.
Mhm.
And it's crazy because like looking at it, it's like a little funny like slant of like the bars because everything is like the first one is so like in the middle for my extrovertness and then the rest of them are just like slid all the way one way.
Yeah.
But then strengths and weaknesses, and this is where it really started to open my eyes up, and this relates to like what we're talking about right now because the strengths of an ENFP are curiosity, perceptiveness, enthusiasm, excellent communicators, easygoing, and good natured.
Wow, that is literally you.
Yeah.
Like
And then
Definition.
oh wait,
Textbook.
just wait because here's
no.
where I took a shot to the gut because I said, "Oh, this shit's real." My weaknesses are people pleasing, unfocused, disorganized, overly accommodating, overly optimistic, and restless. And if that's not me, I do not know what is.
No, that's pretty you.
Yeah,
It's
this
scary
is
how
one.
accurate those things
Yeah.
are.
I
you
was
know?
like the more that I kept reading, the more that I was like, holy shit, this is hitting me like a ton of bricks. This thing is so real.
Yeah.
I shit on this a week ago when I took the test and I was in a voice chat and now I have to eat my words because this is I'm a firm believer now. But like a couple of the things that really sold it for me was when I was reading through like I had a little graphic that I looked up where it says like ENFP personality types energized by their interactions with others. Literally all that I like is humans. More interested in concepts and ideas rather than details and facts, which is true. I love, if anybody knows me, they love that I love having conversations about like abstract things. So like if you're gonna give me facts, I really don't care about that. I can look it up. Give me your opinions. Give me your ideas. I want to know,
Yeah,
like,
what's the tea?
yeah,
I
yeah,
need
yeah.
that.
Makes decisions based on feelings and values, which is 100% how I make my decisions. I never do the right thing. I do what feels right.
Fair.
Okay,
yeah.
I
fair.
feel like people should live by that though.
I have not regretted a single choice that I've made living like that. So I would highly recommend. And then it says values spontaneity and flexibility over planning and organizing, hence why I travel the way I do. But
My anxiety.
but it's very true. Like I am such a I never liked the term free spirit, but in its true meaning, that's what I am. Like I do not like rules. I don't like plans and organization, and I want to be a mess, and I want to be like a happy mess, you know?
I feel like you give off free spirit energy though.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it.
As much as you don't like the term, but I think it just embodies you because I feel like you kind of just go with the flow and that you're just you, and that's amazing.
No, I 100% am that way. And like going back to the like having people figured out, I feel like that comes a lot from like I do have really good perception. Like I think I'm just so in tune with humanity because it's always something that's fascinated me that like figuring out how people ticked was something that I loved from the age of like 10. Like I was always observing people and like trying my best to figure out why they are the way they are. And it was just like I don't know, from like really young, I definitely played the therapist role in my friend group, but not because I wanted to, because I was good at it. Like it was almost like a calling, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of it comes from that, for sure. I think that figuring people out to me is easy because even though we all go through a different experience, emotions are emotions. So I'm going to call something blue, and so are you, right? So if somebody's feeling sad, you know what sad is, even if it's on a basic level. It's easy to identify with people like that. And I think that we let it be known how we're feeling more often than we think. And I think that there are just people who can pick up on that really well. And I just happen to be one of them.
That's amazing.
But because of it, I've always been like, it makes me happy to hear that you were like, that us meeting was like such a big thing for you, because truthfully, it was a big thing for me too. Like I feel like that interaction was very much one of the moments that solidified like I need to go into something where I can like form connections and like figure things out with people. Because I remember you telling me before we met that you were like, I don't really go to meet people, and social things, like they kind of freak me out a little bit. And so to see you take that big step and for you to tell me that it's so easy, it just solidifies what I think, which is that I'm meant to be here to help others, or to like be that guiding light for others, because it's something that I can do. So why wouldn't I use it?
And just to add on to that, like I probably would have never done that with anybody else, but you gave me the feeling that like I would be safe with you,
That's
and
I'm gonna cry.
you wouldn't
Don't
harvest my
say things
organs
like
or anything like that.
Even though JJ thought that
Or
I would.
secret murderer.
Or is it,
Dude,
no, literally,
we were on Discord and we were talking about hanging out, and then JJ came over and said, she's not gonna harvest your organs, right? And I said, tell him I'm just gonna take your liver. And
what the fuck?
he got so concerned, and I was like, babe, no, it's gonna be okay. Like it's gonna be okay. But that's why, like I say, like you just felt like that sort of like you know how people are like, oh, you feel like home to me. Like Veda feels like my second home at this point. And
and it's crazy because like it's funny because like me and Noona have had this conversation before, but like I'm very much that person who, our friendship is our friendship, and that's gonna go how it is the rest of our lives. if we don't see each other for a week, if we don't see each other for a year, it could mean less to me. You are in my life, and you are somebody that I care about, and I'm going to care about you for as long as you let me. And there's no time constraint on that. Like, you don't have to check in with me. You do not have to hang out with me for me to still have that, like, value of friendship between us. It's just, life is rough, and you got to hold on to those connections that you have. And when both people understand that, like we do, it makes a relationship so easy.
Yeah. You live in my heart rent-free.
Same. Also, just to wrap it up, some people who are also ENFPs: Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man himself. Robin Williams was an ENFP. Also, he was my hero, so I think that's really funny that we end up being the same MBTI. Quentin Tarantino, Kim Namjoon from BTS RM.
Oh my god, it's meant to be.
My first K-pop love.
Oh my god.
Kelly Clarkson, Will Smith, Ellen DeGeneres, and then some fictional ones are Michael Scott, Spider-Man. I don't know which one, but Piper Chapman from Orange is the New Black, and Peeta Mellark from Hunger Games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Also Willy Wonka.
It's funny because you got Michael Scott and then I got Pam Beasley.
Yeah.
So
That's earlier we were talking about this. We said we would make good colleagues for sure. But yeah, that's awesome. I love being able to like hear this stuff and be like, yeah, that totally relates to you and blah blah blah.
Right?
But I had a really fun idea. So obviously our personalities are really, really good, right? We have really great personalities. Some people do not. So the second half of this will be readings of Am I the Asshole or Am I the Devil? Which my fun idea is to end with Am I the Devil to see what the worst of the worst is.
True.
But I think Noona is supplying us with some Am I the Assholes? Yeah.
Yes, I think you hear them.
So I got a couple of them, and they're mostly related to Twitch streaming or video games, since that's something that is very common between all three of us, obviously. So we'll start with this first one. So, am I the asshole for leaving someone's Twitch stream to go to another, but saying that I got to go? So recently I have watched this streamer, and one day I was watching them and I got bored, so I told them that I had to go and that I was sorry. But when I left stream, I went to another stream. I had promised this person yesterday that I would catch their next stream, because the day before I joined, then the minute they were about to leave, then the moment they leave, I would catch you in the next stream. So they left the stream and went to my friends. When I got there, though, someone from the girls' stream that I was on previously was there. She said, "So this is why you left," and we got into kind of an argument. And she said that I should go apologize to the prior streamer, and that's what I did. But when I got there, though, the person from her stream was talking about me, but I still apologized. I was in the girls' Discord, so I didn't want to cause any more trouble. Am I the asshole, though, for leaving to stop watching to go watch somebody else?
No.
I do this all the time.
Me too.
I do this all the time. I pop in and out. Open? Literally. Okay. Wait. Can I give a really quick thing about? Only 2 of them count.
Yeah.
That's so. I have 3 browsers.
That kind of sucks.
Do you know how crazy? I have 3 browsers now just so I can have everybody's stream tabbed.
Wait, you can only out of the 2 tabs.
Only 2 tabs count.
Oh my.
So I downloaded. I now have Firefox, Chrome, and Opera just so that I can watch everybody's streams at the same time. It's so dumb that I have to do that. Just let me support all my friends at once.
I think it's dumb, but what I also think, the streamer, if the original one, got upset at that viewer for doing that, that's fucked up too.
I think, honestly,
it's also fucked up that girl went back and talked shit about.
So, if you want my honest opinion, it would be not the asshole, but I also think it's a mild case of everyone sucks here. Because, yes, you could drop a lurk and then go to somebody else's stream. Saying you actually have to leave to go to somebody else's stream, I feel like there's missing context where like we don't know if they said like, hey, I have to go do something, so I'm gonna head out, which is just a blatant lie. Versus saying like, hey, I'm gonna go pop into a friend's stream, I'll be back later, lurk, which is like something that I do a lot. I think that's one thing, because like you're still showing the support. It's just that you want to be supporting different people at the same time, and that's okay. That's great, actually, that you want to share the support among other people, because like I think you would be an asshole not to support multiple people at the same time if they're people that you care about that are both doing something that's important to them. If you have the capability to do so, you should do so. And so I would never peg you as the asshole. Now, if you blatantly lied and said something crazy was the reason you had to go, then maybe you suck a little bit. But overall, I don't think that's asshole
I also
worthy.
find it super wholesome and absolutely adorable if I see, like, for example, some of the homies in your guys' streams. I get so excited.
Me
I'm
too.
like, oh my god, they like my friend.
Whenever I'm like in your chat, like modding during like if we're streaming at the same time, which truthfully I think is kind of rare, but like every once in a while it happens. So because usually we're either together or it's like me in your chat, you in my chat. But if there's ever like a chance, I pop everybody's stream up and I have it next to me usually when I'm streaming myself. So sometimes I get really quiet on stream because I'm paying attention to somebody else's stream, which I know is so bad, but I can't help it because something interesting will be happening. But like I have Cap's stream in my left monitor, and on my main monitor I have my like on top of your stream I have like my slobs, and then I have my game or whatever, and like I'll like keep an eye on the chat, and like sometimes it'll make me smile seeing people in both of our chats at the same time or something. Like I think that's hype.
I think it's adorable when I get a random follow and I'm like, oh my god, I recognize that gamer tag. I love it.
I love that. I also it gives me really great joy to see people sharing communities. So like
I do.
Yes.
I also one of my favorite things in the world is when somebody suggests someone to raid that I don't know. Like I do it every time. Like if somebody is like, "Oh, hey, well I have a friend who's doing XYZ." I'm like, "Yes, let's go do that."
Yeah, I don't take random suggestions anymore just because I've had too many instances in the past where they ended up going wrong. But if it's like, hey, my friend of a friend, or like my friend is doing this, send me the link right now. I'll go.
Yeah, that's all. I don't. Yeah. If I don't know anybody streaming, I'll ask for a suggestion. Like I'll be like, does anybody have any friends streaming or like whatever?
Yeah.
That's literally what I do.
Yeah, I'll like scan the page, but like if there's no suggestions and there's no one I know, I don't like rating random streams anymore, because a lot of the time, like I have like it's a weird magnet where I just do not end up rating out to good people.
Yeah, I've done it too many times in the past that I just won't do it.
Yeah, I'm a little
been
burned.
A few streams in the past where I just ended stream, like I'm not rating anyone.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, overall, I would say not the asshole. I think if anything, the person, the other chatter, is the asshole there.
The one who called him out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I agree.
Excellent. Easy. GG, go next.
GG, go next.
So this is another one. Am I the asshole for watching my ex-girlfriend stream on Twitch?
Ooh, are you in a relationship?
We'll see. So the girlfriend and I broke up 6 weeks ago amicably. I'm still interested in trying again, have told her so, but I've been trying to respect her need for space.
Oh.
She streams on Twitch about once a week, and I've been watching because I enjoy seeing her play. We've talked about boundaries since the breakup. I mentioned her streaming before, and she didn't say anything, so I assumed she was cool with it. This week, however, she blocked me on Twitch without any warning, so apparently she's not cool with it after all. I asked her about it the next day just to confirm it wasn't an accident, and she was pretty shitty about it. She didn't even acknowledge she did it at first. Instead, she said, quote-unquote, neat, and asked me how it worked from my end. Maybe she was just being evasive because she was uncomfortable, but I told her I wish she would have said something first, and she told me I can wish it, but she doesn't have to do it, which felt like a big fuck you.
Oh.
I get that she might feel uncomfortable with me watching, and I'm fine with respecting that, but am I the asshole for expecting her to communicate her boundaries? And am I the asshole for assuming it was okay to watch her stream on Twitch?
Okay, there's a couple things here.
Yeah, go for it.
One, I think to put the label of asshole on them, I would need way more context about the conversation about boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if she wanted like a no contact kind of thing, like, hey, let's take our space and not contact each other, then yeah, I think you're an asshole for going over her to technically contact her in her chat.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if it was just a thing of like, hey, let's not be flirty kind of thing, or like, let's not, you know, treat this like it was before because now we're kind of split.
Mm-hmm.
She's probably setting this boundary because you've already expressed, hey, I want to try again. And she's like, I need space from that. So if you're still giving her the attention, she can't think for herself. So I mean, what were you putting in her chat? Like, what
Yeah,
were
I
you...
think the beginning part needed to be explained a little bit more, especially if it was like ended amicably, but saying that like the dude wanted to have hopes of getting back maybe, but then her wanting space, like it's already sounded a bit questionable to begin with, I won't lie.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the vibe that I was getting, because especially if she's communicating to you of, hey, I need this space, but for you to like continuously ask her like questions like day after day, that's not respecting her wishes of
Yeah.
having that
Well,
space.
and it's also one of those things of he's saying like, oh, you know, I wish that she had communicated to me. Like, she has already. Like, you said you had a whole conversation about boundaries. So
Yeah.
like, at that point, if you mention the Twitch and she doesn't say anything about it, you should ask again.
Yeah, you
Like,
can always ask to double check a boundary. There's
Yeah.
no problem in that.
because
Mhm.
assumptions are killers. Like,
Mhm.
assuming something, what's the phrase? Like, assuming makes an ass out of you and
Out of you.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, I mean, that should exist for a reason. It does, like, because you should never think for another person, and that's what making an assumption is
Yeah.
you're thinking for the other person, oh, this should be fine. Like, that
I also agree
alone.
with the fact that like chatting in the stream versus just watching is two different things though.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, are you chatting in the stream, or are you watching and somebody can see that you're like, someone can see that you're technically in the chat, or like, what's the severity of you being on her stream, like watching?
Yeah.
Because if you're sending
Yeah.
a message every 5 seconds, yeah, I'm blocking your ass too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. I'm like, you gotta go, dude. That's not my space.
And
Homie.
given how long this post was made ago, it seems like, I think if I remember correctly, on Twitch at that point, if you were banned, you were still able to watch them, but you couldn't communicate to them through chat.
Oh, so maybe she was just trying to restrict the chatting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so I don't necessarily think that he's an asshole based off the context that we have. I think there's potential there. I
Mhm.
do kind of agree with her like statement though. Like, you know, where she said, what was it? Like, you can wish it, but what did she say?
Not sure.
She said, I told her, what did she say? I don't even remember where it was now. I asked her about it, and she said it was an accident, and that she was pretty sure she acknowledged it. First, she said it was neat and asked me how it worked from my end. Maybe she was just being evasive because she was uncomfortable, but I told her I wish she would have said something first, and she told me I can wish it, but she doesn't have to do it.
I mean,
And
I
then
agree
to
with
him,
that.
and to him, it felt like a big fuck you.
Well, I'm sure it would feel like a big fuck you, but like, she's right. I mean, like,
Communication goes both ways.
yeah, and
Yeah.
she doesn't owe anything to you. You don't owe anything to her. So like, yes, it probably feels like a big fuck you, but really it's just honesty.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mhm.
she
At the
doesn't
end of the day.
she doesn't have to do right by you. You guys are split up. Just because
Mhm.
you want to try again doesn't mean that she has to cater to that, you know? So like,
Yeah.
if she wants her space and you're not giving her space, you can wish that things are different, but
She doesn't have to like, make that change for you.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So overall, needs more details.
Yeah, needs more details.
Yeah.
Not enough
Mhm.
Gigi,
information.
go next.
Gigi, go next.
Gigi, go next.
All right, so my last one, the description is a little bit long, so I'll try to read through it as quickly as possible. but am I the asshole for playing as women in video games?
Huh?
So I feel like I am losing my goddamn mind over this feud, so I need strangers' opinions. I, a 24 male, moved in with my boyfriend, 25 male, a few months ago. A few weeks ago, while we were having breakfast, he asked if he could ask me something important. He asked if I was in any way attracted to girls. I said no. Then he asked me if I was thinking of identifying as one or considering changing my sex. I again said no and asked where is this coming from. He then said, well, I noticed you play as females in video games quite a bit, and it made me think that either you are bisexual or you identify as a female, and those are things I really need to know and want you to be honest about this with me, end quote. I bluntly told him that's ridiculous, and I quickly changed the subject. For context, I have been playing games like Horizon Zero Dawn, Tomb Raider, which star female protagonists, and other fighting and JRPGs that have fan-servicey female characters. I've never thought about anything about it, and I still don't think about it. I also do not exclusively play as women, in case somebody does ask. However, last night we were playing our respective games and talking, and then out of the corner of my eye, I see him bolt out of the room. I followed him and found him sitting on our bed, visibly shaking and close to tears. I asked him what was wrong, and he just turned and glared at me and said that lady on the screen had way too big of titties. Why did you play as her?
What?
So then they get into this argument, basically, long story short. They're not talking anymore. They're not living with each other anymore.
What?
So am I the asshole?
No.
No, it's a video
Absolutely
game.
not. It sounds to me like your partner had deep-rooted insecurities
Yeah.
and could not handle them and was projecting
There's
them
plenty
onto
of dudes
you.
who like playing as chicks in video games.
I
And
play
plenty of
as
girls who
dudes
like playing as guys.
yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like that's
And
not
also, that doesn't mean you like that other sex specifically, anyways.
They're
yeah,
just
and like
pixels on a screen.
yeah, not only that, but like you can't like oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm a gay man. I'm not gonna play Horizon Zero Dawn because it's a woman. Like
Yeah,
what?
or
What
Tomb
logic
Raider.
would
Like,
that
what?
be? Like
Yeah.
That's so fucked.
oh
What?
no, Lara Croft has big titties. That's so crazy. I'm not attracted to them. That's it's as easy as that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like
Oh.
he goes on to say like his partner ended up calling him like dishonest about his sexuality and gender identity.
That's so
And-
like video games led you to that
Yeah.
assumption?
Yeah.
That's
what?
insane.
That's wild. That's
Yep.
I mean,
actually
you can
wild
have your
to me.
preferences for which sex you want to play on as a video game anyways, but it's not going to dictate something super specific like that for that person. What if they just like how the person looks? Or how the character looks?
Yeah.
Or that they like the
Yeah.
character that is the main protagonist in that game?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
can they not
What?
just enjoy a story that stars a character of the opposite sex? Like is that really that much of an issue for you? Like
I guess.
can you not like because at that point I would be like, can you not just accept the fact that I'm enjoying a video game and it stars a female?
Right.
Like
Yeah, I agree.
because it would be one thing if
Interesting.
he was playing something like Final Fantasy and heavily modding a female character, you know? But like
Like
Mhm.
on purpose?
yeah, like heavily modding them to have like a bustier appearance or you know, like a more like feminine look. Like if they were like pouring their life into a game like that where you can become somebody else and you're choosing to become like a very attractive woman or something, that would make me be like, you got something going on there. But playing Horizon Zero Dawn because Alloy's a girl, I don't know about that one, man.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one kind of pushes to the edge for me. I
Yeah.
was like, what the fuck?
Not
Yeah.
to mention, isn't she like a kid? Isn't she like 17?
I thought she was younger for sure.
Yeah, I thought she was like
I
a
know she's
teenager.
like a
in it.
teenager. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
So like, what
I
do
think
you
those are more
you think
questionable
your
issues then.
boyfriend wants to be a teenage girl?
Yeah, like what?
Yeah.
That's a weird
Interesting.
plot. Not the asshole, by the way. Like 100%.
Yeah.
not the asshole.
100% not the
100%
asshole.
Not the asshole at
That's
all.
crazy. Your boyfriend, you dodged a bullet, my dude.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
GG's go next.
GG's go next.
Nice.
I am am not the best at surfing through the Reddit feed and whatnot, but I did find one Am I the Asshole that I was pretty interested in, and also
Oh.
was curious to see your guys' take.
Okay.
As you
Okay.
know, I'm a big movie buff, so this one's centered around movies.
Oh, hell yeah.
So the question is, am I the asshole for criticizing my friend's taste in movies? Let me start this
Okay.
off by saying this is a throwaway account. Tee hee ha ha.
Those are always bad.
So fucking dumb. I saw so many of these, so I was like, "Ugh, I'm just gonna say it. Whatever, fuck it." So it says, I, 17 male, have an 18 female friend who is a giant nerd. She loves being a nerd. The easiest thing to talk to her about is media. Books, films, anime, video games, etc. She loves them. I love movies too, but I haven't seen any of the crap she talks about. Okay, first of all, that's crazy to say it like that. I'm an
Yeah.
MCU fan and she doesn't like Marvel. She prefers DC. Why? She just says the movies don't vibe with her. On to the main problem. Me and a couple of other friends were at her house on Saturday to chill and watch a movie. As it was her house, she got to pick the movie. What movie did she pick? Psycho. I know a lot of people love the movie, but I can't stand it. Old movies are so boring. I asked my friend if she could put on a different movie, and she said no, since Psycho is apparently her favorite movie of all time. She says that about every movie on her shelf. I asked her why would she even want to show it tonight, since she knows nobody's going to pay attention to it, as it is an old-ass movie that she's watched over 100 times already. She got mad, and that made everyone else uncomfortable. We left pretty early, and now everyone's saying I was being an ass for no reason, which I think is pretty fucking fake, because nobody else would have watched it anyways. So honestly, am I the asshole?
Yes.
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 100%.
First off, why are you assuming what everybody else is feeling in that room?
For
And
real.
why are you speaking for them? Because you don't know how certain people are gonna be. And second of all, I didn't appreciate how he was talking about his friends, like the stuff
Her
that she
taste.
loves. Like,
Yeah.
why is he calling
Like,
it crap? You know, it's so disrespectful.
I hate when people say, so I do this thing where I say, oh, that's one of my favorites all the time
Me
about
too.
things. And so
Mhm.
to hear someone say like, oh, well, that's what you say about like, fuck you. Okay, so I have a lot of likes, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I don't I'm sorry that I don't make top 10 lists in my head constantly about everything, and that if I hear a movie that I really enjoy watching over and over again, I'm going to say it's one of my favorite movies. Guess
Mhm.
what? I
Mhm.
might have a billion favorite movies, but that's just because that's what I'm into. Like, you don't
Yeah.
get to say, like, you don't get to diminish their likes just because you think that there are too many.
Right.
Yeah. It seemed like he was more picky that she didn't like what he liked.
Which
yeah.
is such a narcissistic thing.
It is. And to think that you would make a scene at her house when everyone was okay with her picking the movie because it was her house. Like, if that was already like the go say, like, hey, we're gonna go hang out like at Sarah's house because she wanted to host movie night, so she also gets to pick first. Like, for example, what if there was another movie next? Now
Right.
you'll never know because you made an ass out of yourself
Yeah.
at her place.
But also,
Yeah.
like, saying things in this post, like, I haven't seen any of the crap she taught. Like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
would you
That just
say
rubs me
that?
off the wrong way.
I
Yeah.
literally,
Yeah.
from the start, like, you are, I mean, like, also, you have to give some sort of thought of, like, he said he's, what, 17, 18?
Yeah, 17 and she's 18.
Okay, so you're a little asshole. I hope you change.
Yeah.
I
Gigi,
really
go
hope you grow
next.
up. You are absolutely the asshole right now, and I feel like sometimes when people write stuff like this, I feel like they want to be called the asshole. Congratulations, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
GG, go next.
Like, what did you expect
Stamp on the
to
forehead.
be different?
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
Parade that around. Wear that asshole badge proudly, I guess. Whatever.
Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's so... Oh, God. That kind of shit infuriates me, where it's like... Because it's almost like manipulative. Like you have to convince your friend that they have bad movie taste so you get to watch the movie you want to play or like you want to
Mhm.
watch. That's like the vibe.
And on top
it
of
gives
that,
off.
one of the sentences that really fucked me up was like that. Yeah, she said that movie Psycho was one of her favorite movies, but then he went along to saying, "And what movie did she pick? I know a lot of people love the movie, but I can't stand it. Old movies are so boring."
Like, that's your opinion, but
it is.
but like, dude, oh God.
It just rubbed me the
And-
wrong way, but I was like, y'all need to feel this. You need to know.
So what was
Yeah.
like the original question that he posted? Am I the asshole for what?
Am I the asshole for criticizing my friend's taste in movies?
So I don't think there's anything wrong with, and I don't even think it's criticizing. I think it's fun to hear like what people's takes are on movies
Oh
and
yeah.
like understanding like, and everyone can like have their opinions on it. But I think he just did it completely wrong. Just
Yeah.
not what you're supposed to do, like as a
That's like
friend.
hearing someone rate a movie 9 out of 10, but someone else who also saw the exact same movie with you rate it as 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
Well,
talking
it's
about
like-
it. That's all that needs to happen.
It makes me think of like how strange it feels to have like an altercation like that where you have to feel the need to like tell someone they're wrong. Because like, so if I think back to like the FNAF movie, right? I watched it a couple times and really, really like it. Cap, not so much, you know?
Yeah.
It's just a
but
difference in taste. I'm not gonna
yeah,
fucking
but
bash
she's
Veda
not
about
gonna
it.
like lay into me about it. She's just like, not for me. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I really
Which is
like it.
fair.
Yeah,
And
so-
on top of that, I'll still watch it.
yeah, exactly. That's
Like-
the thing too, is that it's like if it were to be movie night and like let's say somebody hadn't seen Five Nights at Freddy, I can hear it now. Kat would be like, oh, all right, we can watch it. I can
Or I'd
hear
be
it right
like,
now.
Run it back.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
it. Like I won't.
I
And
mean,
plus,
dude-
also, I have this thing when I rewatch movies, even if I may not like the movie, I like finding out different things that I didn't originally see in the first watch.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So I
and
like that.
especially if like you're with people who have seen it and like love it. For Veda, for instance,
Yeah.
she's able to like probably point out things to you that like you wouldn't have like picked up on the
Yeah,
your
And I
that's a
first
good
love
watch
that
through,
point.
you know.
Yeah.
I love that
I
so much.
love that. Like
Yeah,
when
because-
JJ and I do that sometimes. I'm not a big movie person, but he is, and he'll show me like the classics, and he's like, "Oh, this happened because like this and this." So like for instance, so like Lord of the Rings, when Aragorn like stubbed his toe, like he
Dude, we're
actually
about to
broke his
talk-
toe in real.
Yeah.
Bring that up.
And
Yeah.
I had no idea. And he
Yeah.
he pointed that out to me, and I was like, "Oh my god, like that's so genius, but also rip your toe, you know?" But
Yeah.
and it's like those little things where it's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's so cool though."
I
Mhm.
do that shit too. Sometimes if it's a movie that I really love and I know like that a scene is like all improv or whatever, I'll let the scene play out. I'll go, by the way, that was all improv. And like I
love
don't
that.
care.
I love that.
too.
Oh my
So,
god.
going back to what Noona brought up about the Lord of the Rings thing, so when me and Veda were hanging out with Lexi at her place, I don't even know how it got brought up, but that scene in particular came up, and me and
Yeah.
Veda instantly whipped around, looked at each other, threw our head backs, and started laughing,
Yeah.
saying, "Oh my god, did you know?" And we went at it like word for word at the exact same time. It was fucking hilarious. I will never forget it.
Yeah, it's such a. I honestly like the little. That's one of the reasons why I like movies so much too. Is because like there are things that you find out. Like you like a movie. Like I really one of my all-time favorite movies is Casablanca. That is one of my all-time favorites. People hate it because, I mean, this guy's got a point. Old movies can be kind of boring. They're very slow.
Yeah.
We didn't have all the movie magic we have today. But there are things in there that you don't realize, like one-liners that you don't realize how witty they are because the time has passed.
Yeah.
So there's like a line in Casablanca that I always point out to people what it means, because this there's this corrupt guard who's like seen gambling a couple times, and he sits there and he's like the guy who is like essentially the big bad, he's trying to shut down the gambling thing, and this guy's going, he's like, you know, gambling, it's a despicable thing, I can't believe all of you do this. And then there's a guy who just pops up and quietly goes, "You're winning, sir." And it's so funny and witty, and it's such a good little stab at his character, but like it passes so naturally. And there are people who are like, this movie is so boring, and I'm like, do you not understand how smart the jokes are? Like,
Hot take, I've never seen it, so we need to see
dude,
it.
we gotta watch it.
I've
It's
also never seen it.
we can have a movie. I'll make
Girls'
that one of the
night!
movie nights, because it's such a good film, and it's such a tragic love story, but also such a like it displays real genuine love, and sometimes that doesn't go the way you think it would, and it's amazing to see a movie that old portray it so like
so well.
yeah, it's such a good one. But like, yeah, when I
Okay.
watch it with people, like I point out like the little facts that I know about that stuff all the time. And so if it was a scenario like that where Psycho is a movie that is like her favorite and she wants to be able to like share that with you, to turn around and say like, no, that's gross and it's old and boring and gross and I don't like that. Like what?
That's
Yeah.
fucked up, honestly. So
Yeah,
yes,
that's
he is the asshole.
yeah.
Gigi, go next.
GG, go
Asshole.
next. Okay, moving on to the worst of the worst. So sometimes am I the asshole posts get it doesn't have to be am I the asshole, but a lot of time it is. They get cross-posted by people onto another little subreddit called Am I the Devil?
Mhm.
And this is for people who surpass asshole typically. So this first one goes back to like our kind of like overall common ground of PC gaming and all of that kind of stuff. And it is, am I the asshole for kicking my son off his PC? It says, this story involves me, 52 female, my husband, 50 male, and my son, A, 15 male. A recently saved up $500 to buy some computer parts and build his own computer. He is very interested in it and has a passion for computers and technology, so I thought it would be good for him. He mainly wants to use it for gaming, but he said he could use it for homework too. However, before we purchased anything, I made sure to set up some rules. The rules are as follows. No installing anything before asking me. 2 hours max per day except for homework. Homework comes before games. No computer or phone before 9 p.m. or after 9 p.m. I must know the password and everything he does on the computer. I am allowed to use the computer when he's not using it because mine is old and he has a nice new one. And if the rules are broken, he doesn't get the computer for 3 days. I'm going to do a quick stop and just say that personally, I think this is really fair for a 15-year-old.
Yeah,
I would agree.
I would agree.
For a 15-year-old.
Yes, for a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
So he signed the rule sheet. It's been going well until now. We went on a small vacation and A missed 2 days of school. He has accumulated around 10 missing assignments to do. Last night he found some initiative to do them, but it was around 8:30. So I told him he wouldn't have too much time before he had to go upstairs because the rule is upstairs by 9:15. He started to do his work, and when it got to 9, I told him to turn it off. He said at that rate he would never get all of it done, and he needed to stay up a little later to do it. I told him that rules are rules, and he signed the sheet, but he refused to turn it off. So I tried to power off the computer using the power button. It didn't work, and then in parentheses it says he must have disabled it or something. Given that I had no other option, I just unplugged the power. He got extremely mad at me because he hadn't saved his Word document. I told him he had broken the rules anyway, so no computer for 3 days. He screamed at me and went to his room and hasn't talked to me since. Am I the asshole for making him get off and go to bed even though he had work to do?
So I'm torn.
This is so rough.
So I don't think she's the asshole for wanting to stick to the rules that was already laid and already signed. But for example, if the kid does have a lot of schoolwork and you know he does, and you do understand that he does need to use the computer to do said homework, I think a good middle ground, just to make sure he can get a little bit of extra time. For example, let's say 30 minutes. Instead of saying that he just needs to automatically shut it down 9 o'clock, like go upstairs is like good night time or whatever, why not like say, okay, I'll give you 30 more minutes or an hour, whatever you decide, and have the mom stay in the room and like watch him work on his stuff, just to mitigate that thing of like, oh no, he's just playing me to play some video games. Like,
Right.
no, he just wanted to work on his stuff, but you could also be that parental guidance in the same room and make sure he is doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that totally, especially if your child is communicating to you that like I can't get this done because you're making me get off.
Mm-hmm.
Like you also as an adult have a responsibility to make sure your kids are doing the homework and making sure that they excel in school, and you are preventing him from doing this, especially if he says that he's not going to get it done. And then do an option like how Cap said, like stay in the room with him, make sure he's actually doing the work instead of, pulling your leg for that. I wouldn't necessarily call her an asshole in my opinion, or like the devil or whatever, but I do think that she should have probably thought it out more instead of sticking by the rules for this
Yeah.
exception.
So
Like, she wouldn't have thrown away the rules entirely. It would have just bent them just a little bit to give him a bit more time to work on this stuff. But also what got me fucked up is that the rule stated in the list saying, if you break these rules, no computer for 3 days. Now you just screwed him over 3 days of not being able to do the computer for his homework anyway.
So
Right.
this is the verdict of the chat. They said that it belongs here because this kid paid for his own computer to do what he wanted to do with it. And then the second that he decided to do something productive and like smart, you took it away from him.
Yeah.
So the lesson
Yeah.
that you are teaching your child is now when you go to do something that is going to better yourself, it can be taken away.
That's what I'm also
Right.
torn about too, because
Yeah.
like, yeah, the kid did save up his own money as 15 years old.
Yeah.
And got himself a whole PC and took care of everything. And I don't blame the parent for saying, I get to use your PC if you're not on it because my PC is old versus yours. Sure. But if the kid says, hey, mom, dad, I need to borrow this for a sec. I need to finish up this homework, or hey, are you working on anything right now? Can I play video games after you're done? Like, just to do like a quick check-in kind of thing. But otherwise, I think that PC should stay the kid's PC because he put money into that.
Yeah,
and that's his
exactly.
stuff.
I
I
also
agree.
think this would be different for me. I think I would think that they were less asshole-ish
Yeah.
if it was like some sort of lesson they were trying to teach about something like time management or priorities. But to me, it sounded like they were just trying to heavily enforce rules. And like, here's the thing, is that I get setting rules for your kids and wanting them to abide by the rules, but also you should be teaching your kids about compromise. So
Yes.
Yeah.
what you guys are saying, I completely agree with, because at that point, that would be a great lesson to be like, okay, well then let's do what's called a compromise. Okay, you're gonna work on your work. I'm going to allow you this extra hour. In exchange, no video games tomorrow. Is that cool? Like, that's
Yeah.
what I would have done.
Yeah.
Just
Instead,
to
you
yeah.
focus on your work.
Exactly, yeah. So like,
Mhm.
in exchange, you're going to give your 2 hours tomorrow that you could be playing video games. You're going to put those towards your homework, okay? And then I'm
Yeah.
sure that kid would be like, well, I don't want to fail school because you're going to beat my ass. You sound like a really strict parent. So
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, sure, I'll do that tomorrow. And like, that's the thing, is like, that's a way to harbor a positive environment where a child can learn something, versus if you take away all of his progress by unplugging a PC that he has not saved his homework yet on. That's like, that to me is where the asshole part starts to come in,
Mhm.
because like, you took it upon yourself, like he's refusing to shut it down. And I mean, like, sure, maybe he should say like, hey, I need to save this real quick. But at the same
Yeah.
time, like, you should not be unplugging something when you know he's working on something important. You don't know what that's going to do. Because, like,
Mhm.
even
Plus,
the
it could
word.
fuck up the computer.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
yeah, big time.
And so it sounds to me like maybe you don't understand computers very much. Like, you don't realize what you did, but you also don't sound super apologetic about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of like they were just like, so did I mess up? Because like I don't think I did.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is like, I mean, at the end, because they say, am I the asshole for making him get off and go to bed even though he had work to do?
Yeah.
It's
I
the
mean,
even
when
though.
When
When
you
you
put it like
question it like that,
yeah,
yeah.
you are kind of. So I think the reason people put it here is valid. I think I just see both sides of it.
Yeah.
Like,
I can see both sides for sure.
yeah,
I just think the compromise could have solved like the entire
yeah.
issue.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
say asshole, not the devil.
Yes.
Yes.
I agree.
Okay,
Gigi, go next.
great. This is the last one. And the way it was shared, because they get to put like a comment on it, right, when they share it to Am I the Devil, is, why would you say this to your spouse?
Ooh.
So
Uh-oh.
it says, am I the asshole for telling my wife the bitter truth that her sister doesn't love her?
Okay.
It starts
Hit us
really
with
rough.
it.
I need you guys to brace yourselves.
Oh
Grabbing
god.
my table.
After their mom
Oh.
passed away, my wife and her older sister grew apart. It was most likely due to her sister, who had a problem with the way my wife was grieving for their mom. Like telling her my wife, or like her telling my wife not to cry in front of their family members or telling her not to talk about their mom with them. Her grieving was probably shutting herself down and expecting my wife to do the same. They had very little contact with each other because of this. It's been a decade since their mom's death, and her sister attended a family event that my wife and I hosted. She came to make amends with her and to apologize for her past behavior, and my wife has forgiven her for it. From my perspective, she hasn't made any amends. She refuses to attend any family functions, even when my wife begs her to come. She gives childish reasons like she'll only attend if my wife is hosting. I can see that it's hurting her. So I told my wife that she probably doesn't love her or her family, because why would she promise to make amends without putting in the work? And to expect my wife to put labor in or host family functions so that she can attend is disrespectful to both my wife and me. My sweet wife still believes that there is good in her sister and defends her, and she only invites her sister to make her feel welcomed. She doesn't really have to attend them. I've been told that her sister has some degree of hostility towards their family because of what she heard them say about their mom. It seems some of them were happy that their mom died. That's a rough thing to hear, but at this point, she is indirectly aiming her hostility at my wife, who has a healthy relationship with their family. I told my wife that her sister is an asshole for dumping the past information on her and expecting my wife to make amends for her. But my wife doesn't see that and keeps, I think that's supposed to say arguing with me, but it says augment with me. So whenever the topic arises. To her, I'm the asshole when I'm only trying to protect her well-being. Am I the asshole here? I am saying absolutely you are, because that is not your family. Even if you are married, that is not your immediate family.
Plate, really.
When you marry someone, you should be a part of their family, but you should respect that they are immediate family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's your in-laws. That's not your parents. That's not your sister. That's your sister-in-law.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I think. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I also just, the phrase "your sister does not love you" is a very heavy thing to say to someone who just made amends with their sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that if he's gonna say anything, that it should be, number one, not heavily opinionated like that.
Yes.
Number two, I think it shouldn't be to talk to his wife in a way that he's trying to find a solution so that his wife can go take care of it. It's to listen to her and hear like what's going on and just be like that person for her. I don't necessarily think that there needs to be some person mitigating right now. It's between two sisters. They got some stuff going on, and again, that's their immediate family. Let them handle it. Like, you can just give your 2 cents, but you can't be the solution for that. And I don't think that that's fair that he like stepped in and said that to her.
Yeah. And for me personally, since I am married and sort of like in that position with JJ,
Mm-hmm.
I love his family. I love his parents and I love his sisters and brothers. And I respect them as if like they're my own family, you know?
Yeah.
However, when it comes to like certain situations when things arise, like I have to take that sort of like back step of it, and I let JJ make the sort of like first steps or first comments, because that is his family. It's not mine.
Yeah.
I'm just here because like I'm with you, but I will support you in the sort of decisions, and I will talk with you, you know, trying to like, you know, get all the sides of it, but I won't make any sort of decisions or say anything like accusatory towards your family, because that's not my place to say that, you know? And it's the same way for like him towards my family, you know, like he takes like that sort of back end and he lets me take the lead, and then we go from there.
Yeah.
Because I think it's very disrespectful if I went up to him and just be like, "Oh, your sister doesn't love you," you know, like that. It's wrong. You know, it's gross that you would even say that to your loved one like that, when you can see that she's grieving. So she just lost her mother, and now you're gonna tell her that your sister doesn't love you. You know,
Right?
like that kind of stuff is just you're making it more of a worse situation than it needs to be when you should be trying to support your wife and be respectful for how she feels towards her sister. And it seems like the wife is saying like she doesn't mind that the sister doesn't join, and it's just that she's more happy just to extend the invite to her, right? Is that what she said?
It sounds to me too like the sisters are doing what sisters do. And I mean, okay, here's the thing. Siblings fucking fight, dude. Siblings they have fights. They throw things at each other because it's easy. Like, me and my sister fight like a fucking bitch sometimes. And it's not because we're mad at each other. It's because we're mad at something going on in our lives and we take it on them. And then 3 seconds later, we're like, do you want to go get fries at McDonald's?
Yeah.
Like, that's just how being sisters is. So I will happily let her take all of her frustration on me because I know it's not pointed at me. And that might be what's going on here. Her sister is... Okay, this is what really gets me. Her sister does not want to attend these family events because her family, some of them are happy that the mom is dead. That's fucked up. Why would you want to go hang out with people like that?
And didn't they say that they openly said that too?
Yes. Correct.
Yeah, like that's fucked up too.
That's fucked up. So of course she doesn't want to go to family events. Truthfully, I don't know why your wife still wants to host family events, but that's on her. She's got a healthy relationship regardless, then that's fine. She can absolutely do what she wants with her life. But so can her sister. You cannot fault her sister or say that she doesn't love... If she did not love her, if she did not love your wife, she would not still be talking to her.
True.
She would not come forward. You're saying that you don't see any effort put in. It takes a lot to walk up to somebody after a decade and say, hey, I was an ass. I'm sorry. I want you in my life. That is a lot. That's a big effort. Yeah. And for you to diminish that because you think you know what's going on between two sisters, you're the asshole. You're more than an asshole.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
Damn, that's wild.
He's dubbed the asshole.
Yeah, that's
all
I'm
of these
say...
are based on like heavy assumptions.
Yes, exactly. I feel like a lot of the people who post "Am I the asshole?" and get tagged with asshole, a lot of them are coming from a place of like, yeah, you assumed, you decided something yourself. You didn't take into account other people. Like, that seems to be the big pattern with stuff like this.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
like they just didn't give that sense of empathy to the other person. They didn't pause for a second.
Yeah.
Lack of empathy, massive amounts of narcissism, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Tends to be a pattern.
I agree.
But ladies, that's all I've got.
Those are good Am I the Assholes though.
For real. Dude, I love surfing that subreddit.
Those are really good. I like that a lot.
Okay, well, since we are at the end here, I do want to do a quick appreciation corner. So I want to give a shout out to Yu-Gi-Oh, Wellmore, and Noller for the follows. Thank you guys so much. And then also I want to give a big appreciation to Duda. Thank you so much for joining us. It was very fun having you.
Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. It was so much fun and I loved learning new things with you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you for teaching me more about this because it's been really, really fun to actually like get into it. And and
like I said, I do this once every year, so like if you guys wanted to do that with me, I'd be more than happy.
And then we hit me up, I'll do it. I got you.
Yes, absolutely. And then for everybody who hasn't already, just make sure that you give Noona a follow at the top of the screen there. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. And then let's see, do we give them a
Can we tease next week?
How do we tease next week?
Drum roll.
I've got something.
Yeah,
I've got you. So, as you all know, we're a bunch of horror lovers in here. And you know the story of Hansel and Gretel? And you know how they leave the breadcrumbs?
Oh.
Well, we'll leave you a blood trail and a stained knife. And we'll go ahead and catch you guys next week.
Hey.
As always, keep it real, Coveys, but always
keep it curious. Goodbye.
Bye.